Daytime TV Performer of the Week gives Genie Francis in Mama Bear mode as Laura puts Drew in his place. Hello friends, I'm Wordly Wise. Welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press bell icon. Genie Francis has been absent from our screens far too often as of late on General Hospital. Fortunately, that was rectified this week when the Daytime Emmy winner's character, Laura Weber Collins, blasted morally challenged Congressman Drew Cameron Matheson for his machinations. We also saw a fun, softer side to Laura as she bonded with Port Charles's latest newcomer, Ronnie Bard Erica Slezak. For her performance that was both passionate and personable, TV Insider bestows Performer of the Week honors on Francis. Congressman Kane is enjoying throwing his weight around wherever he can these days. Danny Asher Antonizin and Rocco Finn Carr were his latest targets after Drew discovered that Danny had violated the order keeping him from his sister, Scout Cosette Abinante. Francis's Laura arrived just in time to not only put a halt to Drew's verbal attack on the boys, but also to administer one of her own. "I beg your pardon," Laura authoritatively informed Drew. "I believe you're out of your depth, Congressman." Matheson has come to embrace his manipulative character and has gotten quite used to ordering people around. Laura, however, has dealt with villains in Port Charles for decades, from conniving Bobby Spencer, the late Jacqueline Zeman in her conniving nursing school days, to controlling matriarch Helena Cassadine Constance Towers. The mayor of Port Charles doesn't let anyone push her around. She's not about to let anyone intimidate her grandson, Rocco, either. "When did you become so petty and vindictive?" Laura almost rhetorically asked Drew. She wasn't interested in hearing anything he had to say in terms of defending his character, or lack thereof. After politely asking Danny and Rocco to leave, Laura's strength only seemed to grow. "I would appreciate it if you would stop characterizing Danny as a bad influence," Laura scolded Drew. Soaps are famous for their two-person scenes, but Francis was sharing the screen with daytime legend Slezak in this confrontation with Drew. We couldn't help but notice Laura's bemused reactions as Ronnie caught on to Drew's true nature. When Drew failed to win Ronnie over to his side, he fell back on gunning for Scout's brother. "Oh, please," Laura remarked as she called out the congressman for not being able to separate his personal feelings from politics. Francis's Laura has a beautiful smile, and she lit up like a Christmas tree when she heard Ronnie say she didn't much like Drew. After Drew was shown the door to the house that it looks like he won't be buying, Laura turned to Ronnie and said, "As the mayor of this town, may I be the first to officially welcome you to Port Charles." In an effort to bond with Ronnie, Laura recounted a tea party she once helped the late Lila Anna Lee throw at the Quartermain house when she was employed by her husband, Edward David Lewis. There was a nice shout-out from Laura to her mother, Leslie, Denise Alexander, when she recounted that Alan, Stuart Damon, and Monica got into a fight that day, which climaxed when Monica threw a teacup at her husband. We can't say we recall that particular bit from the show's golden age, but all that matters is that Francis sold the incident as if it had actually occurred. That's how good she is. In an effort to shed a light on the sister Ronnie never fully knew, Laura explained that the Quartermains argued for sport, they sure did, and that Monica was Edward's favorite, also true. If Ronnie ends up coming clean that she's a big fraud and not really Monica's sister, it may be because folks like Laura have welcomed her with such grace. Kudos to Francis for her terrific performance as Laura passionately defended her grandson and also showed she can befriend a total newcomer with genuine warmth. President Donald Trump is putting aside his screeds against Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel to take aim at another late-night TV target, Late Night with Seth Meyers and its namesake host. And he's even claiming that Seth Meyers being 100% anti-Trump is probably illegal. Seth Meyers of NBC may be the least talented person to perform live in the history of television, Trump wrote in a Truth Social post on Saturday, November 1st. In fact, he may be the worst to perform, live or otherwise. In his rant, the former star of The Apprentice said he had watched Late Night for the first time in years, and caught Meyers' segment on Trump's recent pontifications about aircraft carrier technology. He talked endlessly about electric catapults on aircraft carriers, which I complain about as not being as good as much less expensive steam catapults. On and on he went, a truly deranged lunatic, Trump wrote. Why does NBC waste its time and money on a guy like this? No talent, no ratings, 100% anti-Trump, which is probably illegal. Trump previously called Meyers and Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon two total losers in a Truth Social post last month, as he said Kimmel had zero talent and claimed Jimmy Kimmel Live had worse ratings than Colbert, if that's possible. Previously, in July, Trump said NBC had terrible programming and, even worse, management and accused the network of being an arm of the Democrat Party, along with ABC, as he called for those networks' broadcasting licenses to be revoked. And in August, Trump said ABC and NBC were two of the worst and most biased networks in history, and told followers that the networks covered his presidency with 97% bad stories, in his assertion. Then the president went all caps in his ire. If that is the case, they are simply an arm of the Democrat Party and should, according to many, have their licenses revoked by the FCC, he wrote. I would be totally in favor of that because they are so biased and untruthful, an actual threat to our democracy.